Relations. A relation is a set of ordered pairs. There are 4 ways to represent a relation: as a set of ordered pairs, a table, graph, or as a mapping diagram. Example 1. Express the relation below as a table, graph, and mapping diagram. So let's begin with the table. We know a table consists of the X and Y values. So take a minute to draw your table. Try to make yours look better than mine does. Okay, under the X, we're going to list the X values, which are 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, and I didn't make mine big enough. There we go. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then our Y values are 5, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so we can see that we have the ordered pair 1, 5. So the 1 and 5 are beside each other. 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, and 4, 1, 4, 1. Next, let's look at our graph. Since we have all positive numbers, when we sketch our graph, we only need to have our first quadrant. So let's go ahead and label our x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. This is our x-axis. And then our y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so when we go to plot these points, we're just going to start with the first one. We have 1, 5. Always look along the x-axis first. So let's find the number 1 on the x-axis and go up to 5 on the y-axis. 2, 3. Let's go over to 2 on the x-axis and up to 3 on the y-axis. 3, 2. Let's go over to 3 on the x-axis and 2 on the y-axis. And finally 4, 1. Let's go over to 4 on the x-axis and up to 1 on the y-axis. And don't expect this to be perfect. This is just a sketch of a graph. So it doesn't have to look perfect. Lastly, let's look at our mapping diagram. Now, a mapping diagram is made by drawing 2 ovals. The first oval, not the second oval, is ugly, but okay, sorry. The first oval represents the X values, and the second oval is for the Y values. Now, when you list your X values within the first oval, they do need to be listed in numerical order. Lucky for us, they're already in numerical order, so let's just write them down. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, our Y values are not already listed in numerical order, so we will need to write them in numerical order. So rather than writing 5, 3, 2, 1, we're going to write 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, now in order to complete our mapping diagram, we must draw arrows connecting our X values to their corresponding Y value. So our first ordered pair is 1, 5. So we're going to draw an arrow from our 1 to a 5, showing that those two numbers are paired together. Next we have 2, 3, 3, 2, and 4, 1. And we have completed our mapping diagram. Let's move on to discussing domain and range. Domain is the set of all inputs. Now, I bet you're wondering, well, what is an input? An input is simply an X value. So in order to find the domain, you simply list the X values. So if domain is the set of all inputs, then range is the set of all outputs. And outputs are your y values. So to find the range, just list the y values. So our next three examples are going to give us different representations of a relation, and we're going to have to find the domain and range of those relations. So example 2, we're given a graph. Now, in order to list the domain and range of a graph, it may be easiest for you to go ahead and identify the ordered pairs that make up that graph. So when writing ordered pairs, remember you're looking at the x value first and then the y value. So with this first ordered pair, we're at 0, 1. Our second ordered pair is 1, 2. Our third ordered pair is 2, 5. 2, 5. And lastly, we have 5, 6. Okay, now that we've done that, it's very easy for us to find our domain. The domain is simply the list of all x values. So our x values are 0, 1, 2, and 5. And our y values are 1, 2, 5, and 6. Okay, let's move on to our next example, example 3. Here we're given a table, which makes things even easier for us because we can see our x and y values clear as day. Okay, with our x values, we see that they are 0, 1, and -2. Now, when listing your domain, you need to list the numbers in numerical order. So we're not going to write them in this order. Instead, we're going to write them -2, 0, and 1. Okay, for our y values or our range, we have 0, -4, and 8. Again, we need to list these numbers in numerical order. So we have -4, 0, and 8. If for some reason you happen to have a relation that has any numbers listed more than once, you don't have to keep writing the number as many times as it occurs. When you list your domain and range, you simply have to just list the number once, and that's fine. In our last example, we're given a mapping diagram. Okay, so if we remember from our earlier example, the left oval is for the x values and the right oval is for the y values. So when we look at our x values, they are already listed in numerical order. So we're just going to write those down. -6, 1, 2, and 3. And then our y values or our range, they're also already in numerical order. So we're just going to write those down. -8, -5, and 7.